In Web3, it feels like every single day there was a new project, and they're all claiming to be the next big thing. But how much of that is real solid tech, and how much is just, well, a really good story? Today, we're going to put a project called ULTIMA under the microscope. It's calling itself a performance engine for the decentralized web. Our job? Let's dig past the marketing hype and find out what's actually under the hood. So that leads us right to the core question, doesn't it? Is ULTIMA a real, functional product that has a future? Or is it just another project wrapped in some well-marketed hype? To figure that out, we're going to break down 4 key areas: the technology, the actual traction it's getting, the competition, and of course, the risks. So let's dive in. Okay, first things first. Before we can even really talk about ULTIMA, we need to understand the problem it's trying to solve. Because right now, in the world of Web3, a lot of developers are hitting a wall. And that wall has a name: performance. So what does this performance problem actually feel like if you're a developer? Well, imagine you're trying to build a really complex game, or maybe a super fast-moving finance app, but you're constantly fighting against crazy high transaction fees and a network that just feels laggy. It's kind of like trying to build a Formula One race car on a bumpy dirt road. And on top of all that, a lot of the modern tools and smart contracts they're used to in the regular web world, they just don't have the support they need here. It's a massive headache. And this is exactly the pain point ULTIMA claims it can fix. Their promise is pretty simple, really: high performance, super scalable, and developer-friendly infrastructure. Basically, they're offering to pave that dirt road for you. Now, that's a fantastic pitch, but like we said at the start, a great pitch isn't proof. All right, so let's pop the hood and take a look at ULTIMA's technical blueprint. How does this thing actually work? What's the secret sauce that's supposed to deliver on these huge promises? So ULTIMA's whole architecture is built on 3 main pillars. First up, you've got a fast consensus mechanism. Think of this as the engine that processes all the transactions. It's built for speed and to keep costs low. Second, and this is a big one, it's fully EVM compatible. EVM stands for the Ethereum Virtual Machine, and believe me, compatibility here is huge. It means any developer building on Ethereum, which is the biggest platform out there, can just bring their apps right over to ULTIMA with hardly any extra work. And third, it has a modular design. It's built kind of like Lego blocks, which makes it way easier to upgrade, to scale, and to connect to other blockchains down the road. The theory all sounds pretty good, right? But talk is cheap. Especially in Web3, we need to see some real proof. So for this next part, we're going to move away from the blueprint and into the real world to find some hard evidence that this thing actually works. And you know what? It turns out there is real verifiable activity going on. The public testnet is live, which means you and I can go and actually see the transaction data. We know its EVM compatibility isn't just some marketing claim, because outside developers have already tested and confirmed it works. It already connects with essential tools like the MetaMask wallet. And crucially, we're starting to see the first pilot projects pop up in areas like DeFi, gaming, and NFTs. So yeah, this has definitely moved past the white paper stage and into a real, functioning test environment. Okay, but let's get real for a second. ULTIMA doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's stepping into a really fierce arena with some established giants. To really understand its potential, we have to size up the competition and be totally honest about the very real risks it's facing. This table really lays out the battlefield. I mean, you've got Ethereum, the undisputed king with a monster user base. You've got Arbitrum, a scaling solution that basically owns the DeFi space. And then there's Solana, which is just a beast when it comes to raw speed. ULTIMA is stepping right into the middle of this ring. And as you can see, while its goal is performance, its key advantage is, well, it's still a big question mark. It has to prove it can carve out a space for itself among these titans. So let's be super clear about the risks here, because they are significant. The competition, like we just saw, is absolutely fierce. The tech works on a testnet, sure, but that's a controlled environment. The real test is getting people to use it on the mainnet. And with any early stage project, its tokens are often thinly treated, which means prices can be incredibly volatile. And finally, there's this thing called vesting pressure. This is when huge chunks of tokens held by early investors get unlocked and can be sold on the market. If there isn't enough new user growth to absorb that supply, it can push the price down. It's a serious factor to consider. So, after looking at the tech, the traction, and the risks, what's the final verdict? Well, instead of just a simple thumbs up or thumbs down, let's give you something more useful, an actionable framework. These are the key signals you should be watching to make your own call as this whole thing evolves. This slide really gets to the heart of it all. Let's break down what's real versus what's still just a question mark. So what's real today? A working testnet, proven EVM compatibility, and actual pilot projects that are live. Those are facts. But the big questions still remain. Can it actually attract thousands of developers and millions of users to its mainnet? Can it generate real, sustained transaction volume day in and day out? These aren't just technical questions anymore. They're billion-dollar business questions. And if we had to boil this whole thing down to just one single sentence, this would probably be it. Ultima has moved beyond being just an idea on paper. There is a real technical product here. But its ultimate success won't be decided by its code. No, it's going to be decided by the people who choose to build on it, use it, and create real value within its ecosystem. And that brings us to the final, critical question that hangs over not just Ultima, but honestly, every new project in this space. The technology is real, the engine is built, but the ultimate challenge is never just about the code. It's about the community. You can build it, but will they come? That right there is the most important signal to watch.